Hey everyone, GScotty here. In this series, I try to get an hour of gameplay for every dollar spent on a certain game. So, with that in mind, is Enter the Gungeon worth $1 an hour? Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and let's check it out. I always hear people say originality is dead. I don't actually agree with that sentiment, but I won't lie, I can see where they're coming from. How many times have you heard this one, for example? A chosen one who's gifted with unbelievable power, even though he doesn't know it, and he has a connection to the main villain. Bop. Or how about this one? The main protagonist lives in a world where supernatural abilities are in abundance, and they have none, except someone gives them an ability much more powerful than anything they could have ever imagined. Bop. Stretchy man saving the day, go boy! Now, nothing is wrong with having a similar plotline to something else, unless it's plagiarism. Don't do that, kids. However, everyone is always looking for something new and fresh nowadays. I mean, nowadays all we get is commercials for shooter games that all look exactly the same. Thanks, Game Awards. It's so easy to look at one game and instantly compare it to a different game just because they're pretty similar. Roguelikes can easily fall into the same trap. You go into a randomly generated place and find your way to an end goal. That's what they do. That's what roguelikes are. Luckily, most of the roguelikes I've played have found creative ways to spice up their rather basic concept, like the story of Hades or the unique auto-battle mechanic of Loop Hero. When I picked up Enter the Gungeon, a game that came out about 8 years ago, I didn't know if its age would show or if its creative shtick would be something I've seen before in newer games. However, I've never heard anything negative about this game, like, ever, so I was intrigued. And at a normal price of $15, I figured this would be a great, short game to gun through and get 15 hours of entertainment after. That was a bad pun. Also, something tells me I'm gonna regret saying that this is a short game. Enter the Gungeon is a game developed by Dodge Roll Games, and was a very popular bullet hell type of game. I definitely missed the peak of this game's heyday, but even now, I keep hearing so many great things about it from my friends and lovely subscribers just like you.
Hit that subscribe button.
Now that I've played it myself, I can definitely see why people sing its praises so much. The game is a beautifully pixelated roguelike, where you fight your way into an ever-sprawling dungeon with nothing but a gun in your hand and a prayer, and maybe a lockpick or even a good doggo. The enemies are themed after, or just are, bullets. Actually everything, from your health, the bosses, the teleportation spots. Literally everything is based off of guns. It's really creative and weirdly cute, actually. I think it really adds to the aesthetic. As you progress, you'll find more and more powerful guns and other helpful loot that will help you get deeper and deeper into the dungeon. Or gungeon, as they call it. That is, if you can survive long enough. My biggest surprise was the game's difficulty. At first I had a hard time with the controls, moving with one joystick while aiming with the other. It's definitely not something I'm really used to. But once I did get the hang of it, that didn't stop the game from being absolutely punishing. It can be quite a bit overwhelming to take in everything that's going on at once. You gotta dodge, you gotta shoot, you gotta aim, you gotta make sure there isn't anyone else around you, you gotta make sure the ground is still below you. There's a lot to do. And you have to do it all lightning fast, otherwise you'll get mowed down real quick. Even though the game is difficult and you never grow due to the lack of any permanent upgrades or anything like that, I never found myself getting frustrated with the game. Now sure, it would be sad to get really far down into the gungeon only to fall to a really tough foe, or a pathetic little foe that you just forgot to check for. That happened to me more than once. And you'd have to start all over again with a really weak loadout. But because the levels can be blitzed through, and powerful weapons can be found relatively easily, it never feels like you're wasting too much of your time. Now, would something like permanent upgrades add to the game and make it better overall? Well, normally I'd say yes, but I'm gonna have to say no this time around. One of Enter the Gungeon's biggest strengths is its ability to feel fresh every single run, and any other upgrade system or anything like that would have tainted that, in my opinion. There's a certain beauty and fun in the game's simplicity. I think that's something I really appreciate about this game. It's very simple, even in its story. We follow an odd group of misfits, a marine, a pilot, a convict, and a hunter, who are in search for the legendary artifact, a gun that can kill the past. The only problem is that it's deep below the earth, in a legendary and dangerous labyrinth known as the Gungeon. The end. Yeah, like I said, a very simple concept, and I think the game is all the better for it. A gripping narrative isn't always necessary for a game to be great fun, and Enter the Gungeon is proof of that. I will say, I do like the references we have in the game. Like, you can't tell me this dude isn't a Doom reference, and this guy isn't Han Solo. You just can't. Also, the guns are so creative and absolutely ridiculous. I love them. If you can think of something being a projectile, odds are there's probably a gun for it in this game. Like, pea shooter? I love it. I just became a dad. Maybe that's why it makes me laugh so hard. My sense of humor is shot. My favorite guns that I've discovered in my 15 hours with the game have been the lowercase r and the scrambler. And now that I'm looking it up, I just realized that guns synergize with passives and other guns that you pick up? What? I didn't know that! That's actually really, really cool. Now I have to go back into the game and try to strategize and pick up certain guns and, you know, hope for a certain strategy. That's really cool. I genuinely didn't know that that was a thing that happened. Man, this game is deeper than I thought. Enter the Gungeon is a pixel-perfect game, filled with good times and goofy references that never failed to put a smile on my face. The creativity that the devs put into the game is wonderful, and it fills the entire screen, as well as your entire playtime. This roguelike was a joy to play, and I love that you can even play with others as well. It makes it a fun party. I can genuinely see myself playing this game over and over in the future. There isn't much to say that hasn't already been said. If you like roguelikes or are looking for a goofy time or a challenge that will keep you on your toes, Enter the Gungeon is all of that and more. Fun is a bit of an understatement, honestly. It feels very, very nostalgic, absolutely hype, and clubbable. Clubbable? Sure, this game is incredibly clubbable. What the heck? So, what's the final verdict? Is Enter the Gungeon worth $1 an hour? Yes, it's worth the price. A massive thank you to all of you who are members of the channel, especially the biggest goat of the month, DragonDance05. If you want to support the channel and gain access to cool perks like exclusive videos, stream VODs, and more, click the join button to learn how. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Bye-bye.